Welcome into the Farzy Show here, presented by Destination Retirement at the Steven Singer Studios. Hey, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. That's right. Hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Hope you enjoyed Joel Embiid dunking on Jared Allen. We'll get to that, of course. I want to start it off with this. There is only one Philly special, okay? And I know that the last time the NBC crew did a Super Bowl, it was the Eagles Super Bowl championship, and the Philly special was amazing. But there's only one Philly special. I don't care who Joe Mixon is throwing to with T. Higgins in the end zone. I don't care if Matthew Stafford's trying to catch a pass out of the backfield. There's only one Philly special. Often imitated, never duplicated. You think that Nick Foles was watching the Super Bowl last night just going, these fools. Ha, ha, ha. Or you think Trey Burton was watching that throw yesterday going, ha, you can't throw it like me. Yeah, numbskulls. Numbskulls, that's a fun one. But it was just one of those things that jumped out from last night's Super Bowl that certainly, if it happened here, I know a lot of people were already talking about it on social media. Couldn't imagine how many more people would be talking about it if it was the Eagles in the Super Bowl trying to pull the same thing. But there's only one Philly special, ladies and gentlemen. So let's move on from that. Overall, I thought it was a really interesting Super Bowl. There was lulls, a lot of lulls in this game, but it was good overall. 23-20 is a nice little score to have there in the Super Bowl, with the Rams winning and the Super Bowl MVP honors going to Cooper Kupp. So all credit where credit's due. However, in the same vein, as I always like to get into here, what if it happened here? Everything that I watch in sports, it's always, what if it happened in Philadelphia? What if it happened to our fan base? And I gotta say, if you went the entire game and called in total 6 penalties, that's how many penalties were in last night's game. 6. 2 were on the Rams, 4 were on the Bengals. And about, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, those were up to 4, 5. 4 of them were in the final minute 37 of the game. Are you nuts? Like, I have always been, like, it's funny. If you understand anything about officiating, then you know that it's not really what the rules are, it's how the game has been called throughout. The refs set an expectation. Umpires in baseball do it all the time with the strike zone. That's why a strike in the first inning should be a strike in the ninth inning. You know what I'm saying? You do it all the time in basketball. You're going to let that kind of contact go in the first quarter. You better let it go in the fourth quarter, that type of thing. Same thing in the NFL. It's all officiating. Same type of thing. If you're going to let contact go between receiver and defensive back or defender, then you better let that contact go. And if you're going to let that offensive pass interference go on T. Higgins, where he literally grabbed the face matches of Jalen Ramsey and pulled him away from the ball, and then went on to score a touchdown that gave the Bengals a 17-13 lead, then you better let that go a little bit later in the game if there's something that's even less egregious than that. And did they do that on the Wilson call? No, they absolutely did not. Was there some contact there? Sure. Was there offensive or defensive pass interference earlier in the game that they didn't call in the first quarter with, I forget who it was, the defensive back that was pulling on the jersey? They didn't call that. But in the last minute 37 of the game, on a 3rd and 8 play, 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line, the refs are like, this is where I got to get involved because I'm bored. We've only called, 3, 4 penalties before this point in the game. Let me get involved here. No. That was a horrible call. And if it happened here on a 3rd and 8 with the opposition, like, let's just put the Eagles into that situation back in the calendar year of 2018 when the Eagles won the Super Bowl after the 2017 season. Let's just put this, okay. Tom Brady's driving down the field. The strip sack doesn't happen. Tom Brady's driving down the field, a 15-play drive, and we're like, oh, God, defense, please. Oh, God, just don't let him score a touchdown because we're up 4 right now. Don't let him score a touchdown. We're up 4 right now. 3rd and 8. And that ticky-tack call gets called on, Nigel Bradham at the time? We're losing our minds. They get the 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Then you have a pass to the back of the end zone to Cooper Kupp. He catches it, touchdown. 2 flags on the play. One was for offensive holding. The other, the defensive, what do you call that? Unnecessary roughness on the Bengals. So now you reset 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. You get another penalty after that. That one was legit. The one on Eli Apple, that was definitely defensive pass interference. So then you get another set of downs, and then, of course, they end up scoring. They try to run it up the middle with a quarterback sneak. Matthew Stafford, they don't score it. But then they get the score afterwards with Cooper Kupp's touchdown reception, which was just amazing. It was a perfectly thrown ball by Matthew Stafford. Happy for Matthew Stafford to get out of Detroit, to go. Like, let's just talk about this again. I got engaged in the city of Detroit. It's just how fate would have it. But anyway, so Detroit's got a special place in my heart. However, going from Detroit to L.A., that's got to be nice, especially when you're going from that Detroit weather overall to that L.A. weather overall. That's got to be nice. And I know Matthew Stafford played in a dome all those years, so I'm not saying that he did play in bad conditions. But that's got to be nice to go from Detroit to L.A. That's got to be a nice little transition, right? It's got to be nice to then go into the playoffs. It's got to be nice to then win a playoff game. And then it's got to be nice to go to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl in the first year with your new team. And I can't help but think back to that vacation moment with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, where they're just having a conversation, getting drunk at a bar in Mexico or wherever the hell they were on vacation. And they're just like, this is great. They're drawing up plays. They're talking about stuff. It's like, hey, I should trade for you. Hey, great idea. And then, boom, because of that drunken night in Cabo, wherever the hell they were, they ended up going to win the Super Bowl. But Matthew Stafford threw that perfect pass to Cooper Kupp in the end zone for the touchdown. And it's one of those plays where you're yelling at the defensive back if you're the Bengals, turn around! And that ball just floated in the air to Cooper Kupp, Super Bowl MVP, who brought it in for the game-winning touchdown. And then, I mean, the difference in the game, as far as I was concerned, I mean, yes, you could talk about the officiating in the final minute and a half of that game, and I know we'd be talking about it at length today if that was us, but it's not. So the difference in the game was what I thought would be the difference in the game, and most people thought would be the difference in the game, the defensive line. Aaron Donald, Von Miller just getting after it. And Joe Burrow, who was a mobile quarterback, was not able to escape the pressure yesterday. And that was an incredible performance. And look, Reggie White is, I think, the greatest defensive lineman I've ever seen. And probably, maybe after Lawrence Taylor, the best defensive player ever in the history of the NFL. But I'll say this, he is the best defensive lineman I have ever seen. Since him, the next best is Aaron Donald. And I know he was breaking down in tears after the game last night about whether or not this was going to be his last game and all that. I hope it's not, because I really enjoy watching him play, especially when it's not against the Philadelphia Eagles. So credit to the Rams. I really look forward to what the future holds for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. I know a lot of people were talking about the Marino thing about, oh, when you're a young quarterback and you make it there in your rookie year or your second year in the NFL, oh, you'll have plenty of more opportunities to get back into the championship and get back into the Super Bowl. Not always guaranteed. Jason Kelce gave that speech towards the end of the year to the Eagles at the NovaCare Complex about how he remembered talking to Brent Selleck when he was young coming to the league. He remembered talking to some of the older veterans about how you don't know when you get that chance to either make the playoffs at all, win a playoff game, let alone win a Super Bowl. So for anybody looking at that last night with Joe Burrow, sure, it looks like with that young core, it looks like this team is going to make it to many Super Bowls, but you never know. But they played one hell of a game. They had one hell of a season. After 10-7 in the regular season, to then go on to their first Super Bowl since 1988, nothing short of spectacular. And I told you guys on Friday, I'm rooting for the Bengals, but I'm picking the Rams. It was a great performance from the Bengals. Certainly not as good as they would have liked it to be, but one hell of a finish to that game. Refs or no refs, bottom line to that. Let me get into this. Halftime show was the single best halftime show I've ever seen. And I remember the first memory I have of watching a halftime show really was Michael Jackson in like 91, I want to say it was. And I was 9 years old watching that going, oh, that's a pop singer guy. That's pretty good, right? But I've seen like the highlights again going forward. The other thing was Purple Rain, In the Rain with Prince in the year Peyton Manning won his first Super Bowl with the Colts. That was insane. That was just amazing. I was there for Bruce Springsteen. I was there for the Left Shark with Katy Perry. I actually saw the what is her name? Missy Elliott. I saw Missy Elliott. She was like from here to here. We were that close. And I was like, she's so tiny, I could put her in my pocket. So I've seen a couple live, being at a couple Super Bowls. But that yesterday was the best halftime show I have ever seen. I don't know about the ones you've seen, but as far as what I have seen, that was the best one I have ever seen. And here was like, I was debating it to myself, like we all were like kind of like after, like I don't want to jump to a hot take, oh, greatest thing I've ever seen, right? But I didn't want to jump to that hot take. But here's what I got for you. Of all the halftime shows I have seen, at the end of them I've gone, that was great, that was all Prince and the Purple Rain in the Rain, that's awesome, that was incredible. All right, back to football. This halftime show I watched and I went, oh, we got to go back to football. Can we get more of the halftime show? Let's just give it another like 5 minutes. The players look tired. Give them a break. Let's one more song, guys. Like I have never watched a halftime show wanting more. I've always been eager to get back to the football. And in this case, I was like, can the football just hold on for just 1 second? Because I'm just really enjoying what I'm watching there. And yeah, that was my era. You know, they were talking about the millennials. I'm an old ass millennial. I guess I'm like a millennial by 3 months because it's supposed to be like 82 to whatever. I don't know, but that's my year. I was born 82. So I'm like a millennial by like 3 or 4 months. So like watching those guys and Eminem and all that and Dr. Dre and of course the Snoop and all that, I was just blown away. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, how old is Snoop now? Yeah, he's 50 years old. Mary J. Blige, 51, I believe. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. As far as the commercials, so yes, best halftime show I've ever seen. As far as the commercials went, meh. My favorite, by far, my slam dunk winner for commercials, Larry David. Larry David. The only difference I would have made to the Larry David commercial, the only change I would have made to the Larry David commercial would have been putting him in a room with Eminem and being like, Marshall Mathers, you want to be a rapper? No good. No good. Like, that would have been great. That would have been fantastic. There's a couple other things that were sprinkled in throughout the game that I thought Larry David could have had a nice little hand in if they wanted to modernize it. The Mike Myers, Austin Powers one was great. A big fan of Mike Myers, as you guys know. But Larry David, I thought, took the taco when it came to the commercials. The other thing that I'll get into here is the Sopranos commercial. I know a lot of people were raving about it. When I first heard it and saw the way it was shot, I was just thinking like James Gandolfini. I was like missing James Gandolfini. And then it pulls away, and it's what, Jamie Lynn Singler? No, Jamie Lynn something. And she's married to Lenny Dykstra's son now, Cutter Dykstra, I believe. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's a throwback to that. And then, you know, the other kid that played the other guy in the show. I'm watching, and I'm like, it made me want to. I knew there were two big parts of the show, but it just made me want to see James Gandolfini. Nobody else. So that left me wanting something else, not wanting more, wanting something else. So I think the Larry David one kicked the crap out of that one. So that's where I go with the commercials. The LeBron one, talking to his younger self, that was just weird. So that's what I got for you as far as the Super Bowl night went. But hopefully you guys got to enjoy it. Hopefully you guys got to see some friends and family get together, a little gathering, right? Watch the Super Bowl. Super Bowl for me is a huge family reunion every year. Now, we didn't do that this year, nor last. Excuse me, we didn't do it this year because of COVID. Did it 2 years ago, and it was great. Yeah, I missed that. It's literally about 70 people at my parents' house, and we all get together, and it's just fantastic. Family, as far as a family reunion, it's a beautiful thing. So that's the Super Bowl for you, folks. The 76ers. I can't say this enough, and I always say it, but I just feel like I need to say it one more time. And I know I'll say it, hopefully, a bunch more times in the next few years, not just the rest of the season. Thank you for Joel Embiid. Thank you so much. The gift that keeps on giving. Friday, he goes out against the Oklahoma City Thunder, gets 25 points, making it 23 straight games with 25 points. 23 straight games with at least 25 points. 23 straight games with 25 points. Then he goes out on Saturday and he gets a triple-double, a 40-point triple-double. Second time this season, second time since January 1st that he got 10 assists in a game. Not bad. Joel Embiid is looking to improve that part of his game, and there's no better time for him to do that than right now with James Harden coming to town looking to make his 76ers debut tomorrow night, 7:30 on TNT, national game against the Boston Celtics. There's no better time for Joel Embiid to start looking around the floor more as to who to pass the ball to than right now with James Harden coming here. Then right now with Tyrese Maxey really stepping into his own. Then right now with the 76ers being a legit contender to not only get the number 1 seed again, but also win the Eastern Conference and make it into the NBA Finals. Because quite frankly, that is the least of my expectations. The bottom tier of my expectations for the James Harden-led 76ers, James Harden, Joel Embiid-led 76ers, is making it to an Eastern Conference final, winning an Eastern Conference final, and then making it to the NBA Finals, then winning an NBA Finals. Those are my expectations. But the bottom tier is making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I can't wait to see James Harden tomorrow night, 7:32. And with Joel Embiid playing the way he's playing right now, I think this is going to be magical. Keith Pompey has an interesting story in the Inquirer about how there's a honeymoon stage here. With the 76ers and James Harden and Joel Embiid. And he's absolutely right. How will they do not just now, but when they get past that honeymoon stage? And I think pretty good. James Harden, I think, realizes he doesn't have too many stops left in the NBA. Joel Embiid, I think, realizes that this is his big opportunity to win because I think Joel Embiid also knows that the main reason James Harden is here is to not waste the prime years of Joel Embiid himself. So with those two players thinking about it like that, yeah, now would be a good time to say, all right, even if there is a difference, even if the honeymoon stage ends and we start to realize, oh, wow, they smack their lips when they chop their food, when they chew their food. That's disgusting. Like, even when you get past that, they flip through the channels really quick. They never settle on one thing to watch. Like, even when you get past the honeymoon stage, his mother is really annoying. Like, even when you get past the honeymoon stage, you got to find a way to smooth out any rough patches there. You got to be that sandpaper to smooth things out. And that's why I think the Sixers are ultimately going to have success, is because Joel Embiid knows he can't waste his prime, and James Harden knows he can't waste the final years of the back end of his prime, so to speak. Now, he's still on the back end. He's still pretty damn good, but he's on the back end of that. He's not getting any better, is what I'm saying. And then it's going to be awesome. I'm just beyond excited to watch all this. One thing also I want to get into is, and I had this thought over the weekend, and I don't know if I know Dan Schwartz always likes to get involved in his. Do we have Dan this morning as I peruse the chat? Oh, I'm back from paternity leave. We have Dan. Good to see you, Dan. Nice to see everybody else. April, Sean, Mally, John. Oh, really? Oh, the chat is popping. Fuji, what's going on? Kevin, everybody in here having a good time. Do we have 2 Kevins? Another Kevin? What's going on? I have this assignment, Dan, our unofficial art director of the Farzy show. I need this, okay? This is what I need. I need this somehow, some way, with a Mortal Kombat finish him. Like I wanted to make a GIF of, Mortal Kombat, that thing. And then I wanted to see Jared Allen, Joel Embiid, finish him, fatality, something like that. And because he basically, I forget who it was it Scorpio that would reach his hand inside the dude's mouth and pull out his spine, and then he'd just collapse on the floor, and then fatality. Like that's what I'm pretty sure. That's what it was last Saturday night when Joel Embiid dunked on Jared Allen. That's what it was. My first thought was fatality. Like, that's what it was. Jared Allen. The guy's swaying back and forth. It's just going through. Jared Allen, Joel Embiid, processed. Like, that's kind of I thought when I saw that dunk. It was incredible. And I was sitting in my home, and I felt the earth shake from how awesome that dunk was from Joel Embiid. And we're only going to get more of it. We're only going to get more of it. And it all starts tomorrow night, 7:30 against the Boston Celtics. I'm giddy. I'm absolutely giddy. Joel Embiid did speak over the weekend about Ben Simmons moving on. Here is what Ben Simmons had, or here's what Joel Embiid had to say about Ben Simmons and the whole fiasco about finally being done with it.
Yeah, I'm happy that I'm not going to be answering any more questions about that subject. It's good that not just for me, for my teammates too, the whole organization. The whole year, it was pretty annoying, with the whole situation. But I'm glad, everybody has moved on and, wish everybody the best, in whatever they want to accomplish. But, focus on winning games here and trying to win a championship.
And that's all you can ask for, right? Just to try to win a championship, focus on you. Ben Simmons supposedly got emotional when talking to Kevin Durant. Ben Simmons joining up with the team. I still look forward to Ben Simmons addressing the media because we haven't heard from Ben since the end of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Hawks. That's the last we heard from him. Everything else has been a report, speculation, those close to Ben Simmons and all that. That's all we got from that. We have nothing from Ben. We have all hearsay. We have nothing with him on a microphone. I look forward to hearing him talk. Sean Marks, the GM of the Nets, did speak to ESPN over the weekend. And I have a quote actually from Ramona Shelbourne and Adrian Wojnarowski about Ben Simmons joining up with the Nets and this trade going down and how it came to a head and all that. But one of the things Sean Marks got into was how they're there to support Ben. Everybody's got to go through a lot of different things. When they did speak to Ben, he seemed like he was in great spirits and all that. The whole thing just looks still shady as hell, and I think everyone acknowledges that. But I will say this. I look forward to hearing from Ben. I want to hear what Ben Simmons has to say. But I thought it was interesting. A couple of things came out of the green room, inside the green room with Danny Green in his podcast, his web show. And Tyrese Maxey was a guest recently. We'll let you hear a clip from that. But a couple of things jumped out to me from that podcast, and they've made their way around the media circuit. And one of the things that came out was Danny Green saying that he thought Ben Simmons lost this battle with Daryl Morey and the Sixers organization. And I think he did too, because things aren't exactly peachy up there in Brooklyn. And yes, Kevin Durant's great and the roster's great and everything's great. Everything's great on paper. But when you actually have to play the game, that's where it can be a little bit more difficult. So yes, I agree with Danny Green in that assessment. However, Danny Green also went on to say that when it came to Ben Simmons and him leaving the Sixers and them getting James Harden in return, Danny Green's response to that, his reaction to it was, I'm just happy to have an all-star point guard that wants to play. Two of those things seem to be anti-Danny Green. If you listen to Danny Green at the end of last year, when he basically said that Philadelphia fans needed to be better and support their players. That really, that's like kicking a guy out the door. By acknowledging Ben lost, well, geez, if Ben's got mental health issues, and if you want us to support Ben, why are you saying anything negative about Ben Simmons other than just, hey, we wish him luck with his new team? And then the other, we're happy to have an all-star point guard who wants to play. That too is very interesting. It wasn't, we're just happy to have an all-star point guard that can play, implying that Ben couldn't play because of a mental health issue or whatever, something serious, that wants to play. So all this was just a choice of Ben just to be like, I'm good. I don't want to play for you guys. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. And then Danny Green also, like I said, he had Tyrese Maxey on the show. And Tyrese Maxey, who just continues to amaze me with how much he's improved. The three-pointers, obviously, being able to find guys around there. The assists really aren't off the wall, but in terms of just getting the offense going, pushing the ball and all that, he's great at it. And one of the things we really loved about Ben Simmons, I know, let's go back to those days for a second, was how he would push the ball on a fast break. Tyrese Maxey, he's got that speed and then some. Love seeing him push the ball. Love seeing him take it to the hoop. And if it's a teardrop, if it's going hard to the basket, trying to go to the line, whatever it is, love how aggressive he could be in the open floor. But one of the things that I didn't see even last week was pretty wild. I didn't see that, or actually this was a couple of weeks ago, I didn't see that Tyrese Maxey is now the franchise. Did you guys know this? Did you guys see this? I was unaware of this until I caught a couple of clips of the Green Inside the Green Room podcast with Danny Green. But apparently there was Ron Francis was the franchise, if you remember him. Who else do we have here? Stephon Marbury, maybe? No. It was Ron Francis. And then it was in football, Marc Sanchez was the Sanchez. But apparently here in Philadelphia, Tyrese Maxey, not Joel Embiid, is the franchise. This went completely over my head until I saw this clip. Take a look at this. This is Tyrese Maxey as a guest of the Green Room podcast.
we was in the locker room one day after a game. I can't remember who we played. I don't remember who we played. Maybe I think it was Boston. We had just played Boston. And it was like I don't know, maybe 2 weeks before, Joel posted a picture. And I was in the picture. And I'm like, I was messing with him. I'm like, hey, man, you know, you going to post a picture. You got like 5 million followers. You could at least tag me in the picture. Like, I'm like, man, like, I want little followers or something, man. But just messing with him like that. You know, I go get in the shower and I come back and he's like searching for a picture. Like, bro, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, bro, you calling me out? I got to post a picture. I got to tag you. So this man, I'm like, so, okay, whatever. I'm like, bro, you good? Like, it's cool. I'm really just joking with you. This man finds a picture and just posts like the franchise on it. And I'm like,
big dog. Franchise handed over the keys, handed the franchise over to him. That's how it all came about.
Yeah, and now it's like people walking around and they literally are calling me the franchise, and I just put my hood on, duck my head. Like, oh my goodness.
Couldn't happen to a better guy. The franchise, Tyrese. They ain't trading the franchise. Tyrese Maxey, that ain't happening. Love that kid's attitude. Love that he just has fun. Like, there's certain guys that you watch and you just always think, oh, that guy's having fun. And like, some people might take it the wrong way, as in, okay, you haven't done anything yet, young guy. You know, second year in the league, you haven't done anything yet. You know, I don't know, tighten up a little bit. No, I'd rather him be a little loose. I'd rather him be a little footloose and fancy free. I'd rather see a guy that's enjoying the hell out of the game as opposed to taking himself so damn serious that he can't get better because, oh no, I got to try too hard to get better and it won't come to fruition. Ben Simmons, like I can't watch that. I can't watch a guy that plays tight, that doesn't have any flow to his game. And Tyrese Maxey has got that confidence and swagger for a young guy that you see on and off the court. And ultimately, I think that's what makes him so successful, is that his mindset is right. It's all between the ears. I always say this about professional athletes. You can get guys that can all do the same exact thing physically, whether it's lifting weights, running fast, perfect free shooting form, whatever it might be. But what separates them from, like, what separates the great and just the good and the great athletes is mindset. It's desire, it's will, it's all what's between the ears. And that's what separates the good guys from the great guys. And Tyrese Maxey has that perfect mindset. He's a hard worker. He's very, what did he say the other day? Adjustable. All right. His versatility is off the charts. His willingness to do it. I will not bet against the guy that's got willingness, work ethic, and already this amount of talent in the second year in the league. Speaking of being adjustable, our old friend Howard Eskin. I know he got ripped over the weekend. I think, what's his name? Doc Rivers was calling him first half Howard because he doesn't stay for the game. He just goes to the pregame press conference, asks a question, and then a bolt. So they're having some fun with him. But before that, I believe this was on Friday afternoon, Tyrese Maxey is addressing the media, and Howard Eskin's there, and he's got his phone out, and he's what do you call it, Twittering it? He's not periscoping it anymore, whatever it is. He's giving the live feed out of the press conference with Tyrese Maxey. And I click on it, and I'm like, let me give this a couple of minutes of a view. And I'm watching it, and I'm listening to Tyrese Maxey because I, too, am curious to see what his role is going to be with James Harden being here. James Harden probably run point, which I think is the way you do it, and then Tyrese Maxey will be your shooting guard. Love that. So he gets asked about his role. And if this isn't the perfect answer to that question, I don't know what is. Here's a little bit of Tyrese Maxey when he was asked about what his role is going to be with the now James Harden 76ers.
I've always said I'm adjustable, and at the end of the day, I have one goal, and that's to win. So if whatever coach asks me to do, stay on the ball, play out the ball. If he asks me to play center for Joel, and we just sit Joel for the whole game, and that's what I'm gonna go out there and do.
That's the attitude you wanted every player that plays in Philadelphia. I got into this the other day, and I got a little special something here for you on Ben Simmons, but that's the exact opposite of the attitude of Ben Simmons. That's the exact attitude of every athlete we want in Philadelphia. What's your number one goal? To win. All right. And although I loved hearing Joel Embiid talk about winning MVPs and winning Defensive Player of the Year and all that, I want the team to win. But knowing Joel Embiid, he wants to win, but he also wants to look pretty damn good as well. But when he's looking good, this team is looking good. And I had this argument on Twitter the other day with some people, and I had another argument the other day with some people I've been working on a special project with, and I'll tell you guys more about that another day. But it was about Joel Embiid, and it was about his usage rate. in the NBA. Ready for the okay? So 30% of the time, more than 30% of the time, Joel Embiid gets involved in the offense when they're bringing the ball up. And he's the guy that's doing the scoring, doing the shooting, right? All that stuff, going to the line. Like he's the biggest part of the 76ers, offensively and defensively. Matisse Thybulle a close second there, defensively speaking. But when you watch Joel Embiid, you see how much he's involved, which is more than anybody in any offense in the NBA, according to the usage rate. The fact that the guys are getting better around him, and already were, Tyrese Maxey most notably, before James Harden came here to Philadelphia, I think lends itself to Joel Embiid being less involved in the offense. Excuse me. And that's fine with me if that means everybody around him is getting better and better and better, whether that's just be improving in their own right, like Tyrese Maxey, or you're acquiring a 3-time scoring champion and former MVP in James Harden. Or if that's even Tobias Harris, like I've been pointing out before, averaging over 20 points per game over the last 12 games of the season. That's the offense around you improving and getting better. So if you have other guys for Joel Embiid to lean on, he's not going to have to do too much. But when you see him in this offense and you see him on this team right now, and you really analyze it, you really break it down, you realize that he is the biggest cog in the wheel here in Philadelphia. Now, how is he going to share that? No matter how many advanced stats you want to put out there, you can just watch the game and realize how involved he is. But if guys around him are better, he simply has to do less. And that's why I think the assist numbers have been up for him more recently, even than the triple-double game from Saturday night. They've been up more, meaning he trusts his teammates more to hit those open shots. When guys are collapsing on him, doubling on him, he's now going to have either Tyrese Maxey, who's red hot, or James Harden to kick the ball to try to score for you. That's what I'm looking forward to. Now, before I get to our chat check here and some of our sponsors, I want to roll this out. Actually, you know what? Let me do this because it is Valentine's Day and we got some announcements to make here. Smokers cough. Thank you, Dan. Let me hit this first. Destination Retirement. DestinationRetirement.com. The presenting sponsor of the Farzy Show, Michael Seibert, ladies and gentlemen. RICP is a financial advisor for Eagles fans only. You heard that right. Eagles fans only. His firm, Destination Retirement LLC, DestinationRetirement.com, is a full-service planning firm and an affiliate of 1847 Financial. Let him create a written financial plan for your accumulation years and your distribution years. With pensions few and far between, you're on your own when you're in retirement with only a 401k or IRA. So Mike can help turn your assets into an efficient income stream that can't be outlived. How about that? That sounds good. Mike Seibert is here to put a plan in place for you to help you retire, or if you're already in retirement, a plan that helps you alleviate people's biggest fear, running out of money. Come on, Eagles fans, with stock market volatility and taxes probably going up, you need someone as your financial head coach with the experience to tackle these obstacles. With over 30 years of experience in the financial game, Mike Seibert is a seasoned veteran who is committed to helping Eagles fans get to and through retirement. You can reach Mike at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. Or visit DestinationRetirement.com. That's DestinationRetirement.com. Click on Find Out at the top of the page and fill out the questionnaire to see how prepared you are for retirement. Mike will get back to you and talk to you about how he can help. And remember, as always, go Birds. Happy Valentine's Day! Did you guys hit up my friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers? Just one more time. If you didn't get this amazing rose, I don't know what to tell you. But here's the deal. Steven's still open today, folks, for Valentine's Day. So if you're a last-minute guy like me, hit up Steven Singer. Head on down to the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Steven's been in the love business for over 40 years in Philadelphia. And you know what? He makes buying diamond engagement rings, diamond jewelry, beautiful gold dip Emerald City roses. Makes it so easy that guys don't have any excuses. I hate Steven Singer. Makes it too damn easy because there's no excuses. So do what I do. Trust Steven Singer Jewelers with all your jewelry needs. Other jewelers also, by the way, they like to mark things way up just to mark it down in front of you and make you like you won something. But that makes you also want to haggle. And you don't want to do that. Steven makes it comfortable by putting everything at the perfect price. So when you go in there, you don't have to worry about missing a discount or a sale or anything like that, because every day is the sale at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. IHateStevenSinger.com. All right, let's jump into our chat check, ladies and gentlemen. But before I do that, because I want some people to comment on this. So March 10th. But Danny Green also said in this podcast that he doesn't really expect he's like, wouldn't be surprised if Ben Simmons didn't play March 10th. Like, oh, he tweaked an ankle, whatever. But March 10th, when the Brooklyn Nets come to Philadelphia and Ben Simmons supposedly plays and comes here to Philadelphia. I've said before that I want the biggest boo that has ever happened in the history of Philadelphia. Like, I want people to forget about Santa Claus and be like, hey, how about the time they booed Ben Simmons? Oh, my God. I love Matt Cord. I have known Matt Cord for 13, 14 years, whatever it's been. We actually used to, Rhea Hughes, when I was just coming up and stuff, Rhea would pay me to take care of her pets. She had like 10 pets. And Matt Cord lived down the street, and I got to know Matt a little bit because Matt would also take care of the cats. If I couldn't take care of the cats or the dogs, Matt would come over and take care of the cats and dogs. We helped each other out. We had a nice little thing going. But anyway, Matt Cord is a great guy, and Matt Cord does a phenomenal job. And even before I met him, my buddy Bennett, who I reference a lot on the show, I remember going to a Sixers-Pistons game and hearing Matt Cord for the first time saying, like, Christian Laettner. You know how he does after the other team scores? Grant Hill. Like that, you know what I'm saying? So that was Joe Dumars, like that kind of thing. So I've always been a fan. I have never not wanted to hear Matt Cord more than after Ben Simmons gets introduced as a member of the Brooklyn Nets. When Matt Cord introduces the opposing team and Ben Simmons' name gets said at the Wells Fargo Center, I don't want to hear Matt do any other name throughout intros. I don't even want you people to cheer the Sixers when they're introduced. They know we love them. They know it. I want the boo at the Wells Fargo Center on March 10th to go beyond just introing Ben Simmons. I want it to go for whoever's introed after him for the Nets and all the way through the introduction to the 76ers, all the way up until tip-off. I know when guys like Jimmy Rollins or Chase Utley or Ryan Howard, whoever it might be, whenever they're done playing and one last time at the plate, we give them the 90-second ovation and we don't stop. And we love rain and love upon them and all that stuff. I want that to be the opposite for Ben. That's what I want to hear. Ben Simmons. Boo! And now you're 70. Boo! Just keep on going. All the way through. That's my dream. Let's make that happen. Okay? Let's make that happen. Let's get into the chat check, ladies. By the way, that dream is brought to you by Rothman Orthopaedics, ladies and gentlemen. If you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You have an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and 76ers. Oh, hopefully you guys are getting in on all the action with our friends at WinView, the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the biggest sports fan? If you have those friends and family members who think they know everything, play them in a WinView contest and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. What am I been telling you? Keep on hitting the over with Joel Embiid, baby. Enjoy your time. Whether you're tracking the games throughout the NBA season or whatever, you'll have a great time on WinView. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can win real money prizes on making predictions of the games that they love so much. So make sure you download the WinView app right now. And also follow all the great stories in Philadelphia with PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. All right, now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the chat check, your favorite time, your favorite part of the show. Dan, good morning. Mally, Sean, April, what's happening? Let's see here. Yes, I am back officially from paternity leave. Leo is now 15 years old, looks great. He's on his own. Mom's fine. Everybody's sleeping. You know that's a lie if you have children. The best is when the older kid doesn't sleep through the night now and then wakes up the younger kid, and that's like, oh, so okay. Everybody come on over. Having a sleepover in mom and dad's room. You know what's weird, Dan? I saw that mentioned by a couple of people on Twitter. Underwhelmed by Al Michaels again, just like he was, just like when he cashed our Super Bowl? Called our Super Bowl. I see it now. What do you call? Yeah, it was weird. And I remember talking to some people about his call of the Eagles Super Bowl. And the thing I remember mostly from the Eagles winning the Super Bowl is Al said, and the clock runs out on the Patriots, and the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Finally, Super Bowl champions. I think it was, I don't know. I just know Merrill's call. But it was weird. And I think that was Al Michaels' last broadcast, and I have no inside information. I haven't reached out to anybody about it, but there's a lot of speculation about Al Michaels possibly moving on to what is it, Amazon, to do a podcast or something. Like, he could be moving on from NBC. And that game last night was like somber in a lot of ways. And like I said, there was a lot of lulls, so I don't know what they were supposed to do. But there was one thing that stuck out to me from Chris Collinsworth, and it was the Cooper Kupp run on 4th and 1, where Collinsworth said, you do this and it works, that's great. You do this and it doesn't, you're an idiot. And I'm like, all right, that's a rarity, but okay. And then the other was just the end of the game was, it was like Al was fighting back saying goodbye. Like that's what it felt like more than anything. It felt like he had something to say but wasn't saying it. And rather than celebrate what he had just done, it was like, let me just not say what what my future, holds. It was like there was something bigger that happened that he wasn't talking about. It was weird. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. That's kind of the thought that was running through my head. Mal, you didn't watch the Super Bowl? If the Eagles aren't in it, it's really not worth watching. So you've watched one Super Bowl or two? How about that story that Copen told us last week about what do you remember from the Super Bowl? Well, first off, I give him a lot of credit for talking about Spygate. And because some people, don't ask me about that, but no, like he talked about it openly. And then, hey, what do you remember? What else do you remember from the Super Bowl? McNabb throwing up. Cool. We got Sean McVay-isms coming up. All right. I thought there were letting go of the Higgins missed call was John says, I thought they were letting a lot go last night in the game from the ref standpoint, but the Higgins missed call was horrendous. That's the thing. If you're watching that game and you see the way the refs have called it throughout, and then in the final moments of the game, I have my notes though. 3rd and 8 was the defensive holding on Wilson. 1st and goal from the 4, Kupp touchdown negated by offsetting penalties. So 2 penalties. That's 3. Eli Apple was the pass interference, and that was a legit call. That was legit. But that's 4 penalties, 4 flags thrown. There were 6 penalties in the entire game. And one of them was, what's his name, running on the field to celebrate with the team. What's wrong with you? Oh, God, it's fun. We're all having fun. Sean McVay, I can't stand that dude. I like Sean McVay. Here's what crossed through my idiot brain yesterday. I found this interesting. Sean McVay beat out Doug Peterson for Coach of the Year when Doug Peterson took the Eagles and won the Super Bowl. Sean McVay won Coach of the Year. Doug Peterson beat Sean McVay that year. Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl that year. Sean McVay then goes to a Super Bowl the following year, loses in an awful boring game to the Patriots, and then takes a play out of Doug Peterson's book last night in trying to run some semblance of the Philly special. Okay, Sean. Okay. Yeah, that's how I connected the dots in my idiot brain. Like I said, I'm an idiot. Idiot savant. Got to say, though, I was in a pick'em league. Me and a friend of mine were tied. You were tied entering yesterday. I picked the Rams. He picked the Bengals. So it was a true tiebreaker. John Cheeseborough. Congratulations, man. What else do we have here? Very lively chat today. Sean, D-Jax is kicking himself this morning. Yeah, probably. Although I did see his tweet last night and said, nothing but love for everybody. Congratulations to the Rams. Happy for them and all that. That's fine. A couple other things, by the way. Some still Eagles. I'll get to in just 1 second. Both Brandon Graham and Jason Kelsey. Some interesting things there that we'll get to in just 1 second. What else do we have? Yeah, more of the halftime show. John, we're on the same page. Wish there were a few more songs. Says April, I'm with you. Fuji, good morning, buddy. Kevin, if I was the Bengals kicker, I would have definitely stayed out there and watched that halftime show. That was amazing. When they showed him on the sidelines, when they showed the pictures and stuff of McPherson, I was dying. I was like, good for this guy. But then when he came out in the second half to kick a field goal, I was like, watch him miss this. And if he misses this, oh, why weren't you practicing field goals during the halftime show? Do you even want to win? That's, again, my idiot brain connecting dots. Larry David, the crypto commercial. Gold. Pretty good. I tweeted out last night that Larry David won the Super Bowl. Like right after that commercial, I tweeted Larry David just won the Super Bowl. And somebody's like, oh, yeah, that'll get the boomers excited. And I'm like, it's not just boomers that like Larry David. I know people of all ages. And it made me think of this. If you thought the Larry David commercial was the best and you thought the halftime show was also the best, then you and I can be friends. Because that shows your wide range of things that you really enjoy. Things that impress you can be really, really different. Like I never thought I'd say, man, Snoop and Larry David made my night. Like I never thought I'd say that in a sentence. And I said that after the game last night. Larry David and Snoop were fantastic. Those two things shouldn't be going together, but they're together, and they're awesome. Yeah. Anywho. What else do we have here? Good morning again, Kevin. Fuji, hello again. For the record, Holly Berry does not age. John, excellent observation. Only missing the Mary dance? What, Mary J. Blige? Good morning to you, Kevin, again. Kevin, another Kevin. Larry David Crypto, very good. Sean, damn millennials, except you, Farzetta. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, the QR code. I thought that was brilliant at first, and then I was like, well, wait, I didn't get up off my sofa. Is anybody getting off the sofa? Did you guys say, whatever you were doing, did you have one person in the party that was like, let me get up and get that? Like, did you guys nominate the one person? And did you go on the QR code and just see what's that? I don't know what this other long thing is. I'm not going to give it a shout out, but it seems to be making a lot of rounds there. If you're lonely on Valentine's Day, though. Kano would reach in and pull the heart out. Thank you, John. Oh, no, that wasn't the skull, though. Or the spine, the skeleton. Kano would reach in and pull your heart out. I think Jax would do that in like Mortal Kombat 2 or whatever the other one was. But yeah, he was one of them. Yeah, I could never do the finishing moves. I was never good at all that right there. So I just tried to win, and I didn't spike the football. But yeah, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's the first game I remember where my mom was like, you can't have that game. It's too violent. And then I remember we moved back to the Philly area, and my mom was always big on the bribes. When we went to move to different places, my mom was always like, oh, yeah, we'll move. When we move, you guys will get this video game, or you guys will get that bike you really wanted, or whatever. That's how, and I was like, we didn't have a choice. I was going to live on my own when I was 6. So anyway, I've told you this story before. Born in Ambler, moved around a bit, and then we came back to the Philly area when I was like 10. So anyway, I'm watching the game. I'm thinking of Mortal Kombat, and my mom goes, I'll buy you Mortal Kombat if you guys move. So we move. And then she watched us play Mortal Kombat and was disappointed that it wasn't bloody. You needed not the cheat codes, but you needed the codes to make it bloody. And when my mom was watching it, she was like, oh, this is almost disappointing. Like, there's no blood. And then she left, and my brother was like, enter the code. And we entered the code, and then the good times really started. Oh, Sonya. Sonya, man. Gorgeous. Anyway. A lot going on. 2-liter Pepsi and a jar of weed? Sounds like a good night, Mally. Good for you. Dan, an interesting story about that with clearing your car off. That's very good. A lot of wings. People are enjoying the wings, as you should. Sean, those fake lackadaisical LA fans didn't deserve a Super Bowl, but the Rams went all in. They have. They absolutely did. Kevin Guest, excellent point. Tyrese Maxey is the anti-Ben Simmons. You could not be more right. All right, more of that. More of that. Kevin, Larry David transcends age, race, religion, creed, or sports loyalty. If Leon would have made an appearance in that commercial, it would have been awesome. Oh, yeah, I got up and you did the QR code. You did do the QR code. Good for you. T-Bro, what's up, T-Bro? T-Bro? Oh, the QR code commercial was a Coinbase contest for $1 million in Bitcoin. All right. Ooh, okay, this is good, John. If I ever play Mortal Kombat again, ABACABB, blood code. Thank you. There we go. And you know, that's how we just helped out everybody. That's how we helped out everybody. Mopar, what's up? Appreciate you. Did I get everybody? I believe I did get everybody. Let's get into our, that was our chat check. Let's jump into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. I told you guys this earlier. This is an excerpt from a ESPN Insider or ESPN Plus piece by Ramona Shelbourne and Adrian Wojnarowski about the Ben Simmons deal for James Harden. In the final minutes of negotiations, Daryl Morey was shouting to Sean Marks, "Stay on the bleeping phone!" It was 1:15 p.m. on Thursday, deadline day, and the 76ers president of basketball operations had come too far to let the deal die. He implored Marks to stay on the line until they had an agreement on the biggest trade of the year. That's why Daryl Morey's the man. Could you imagine? And I did the whole history lesson last week, but could you imagine going through that whole process? You go through first Jerry Colangelo, then Brian Colangelo, then you bring in Elton Brand. He cashes in some chips from the process, and then Daryl Morey has the last chip of the process, the last piece of the puzzle. That's Ben Simmons. He's like, what am I going to do with this? It doesn't fit here because he doesn't want it to fit anymore. So what do I do with this? And he takes that chip, and he cashes it in for James Harden. I said this is what everything was all about. Getting James Harden here to Philadelphia. Getting a superstar to play next to Joel Embiid. Getting that guy to play. This is a step up from Jimmy Butler when Jimmy Butler came here all those years ago. This is a step up. This is cashing in the last chip of the process. Imagine being Daryl Morey, coming into this situation, realizing it, also taking into consideration that you're at this point because of your good friend and mentee, Sam Hinkie. And you have all his hard work leading up to this moment, and you're on the phone with Sean Marks of the Nets, and you're going, stay on the phone! Don't get off the phone! We're getting this deal done, 2 first-round picks? Fine! But only one is going to be in the next 2 years at most, and then another one's going to be 5 years from now. But stay on the phone! Could you imagine that? All that work that's gone into getting to this point, to be able to have that chip and what it's worth and put it in there and go, now I have James Harden. Now I have James Harden to play next to Joel Embiid. Could you imagine for a second? Now, as that story goes on, it's interesting. Sean Marks goes on to say, oh, Daryl, we're cursing now? We're cursing? Like jokingly. And by the way, I actually listened to Sean Marks the other day for an interview. Was he Australian? I didn't realize he was Australian. Anyone ever talk, like, you ever like read stories about a person, and then you actually hear him talk for the first time, and you're like, I didn't realize that person was British. You know, that person was Australian or whatever. Oh, that person has an accent. No way. That's what happened with me when I listened to the Sean Marks thing. But I can only imagine Daryl Morey on the phone realizing what was on the line, literally, and actually making the deal. Daryl Morey was trying to bully Sean Marks into staying on the phone. You stay on the phone! Don't you have your assistant call anybody? You and I are talking. Made me think of the scene in Moneyball where Brad Pitt's just hanging up on guys once he gets the answer he really likes. So that was pretty fun. Anyway, there you go. Kevin suggesting Daryl Morey should make a burner account on Twitter just to mess with Ben Simmons. I like it. Very creative, guys. I had something else here. Oh, Jason Kelce in a suit and sandals at the Super Bowl yesterday was beautiful. What's more beautiful than that? Jason Kelce alluding to returning next year. That's even more beautiful. I didn't think Jason Kelce was going to retire, and now it looks like he won't retire. Now it looks like just a matter of what do you call it? Formality. But I think he is going to return next year. I never thought he was going to retire. But him more or less alluding to that to Jeff McClain of the Inquirer is great to see. Then last night after the game, I thought this was interesting. Following, as many of you do, I follow a friend of the show, Brandon Graham. Have to try to get Brandon on again in the near future. And Brandon Graham put out there on his Instagram story, congratulations, Detroit, more or less. But, hey, we'll be in there next year. We will, meaning Brandon Graham, will be back in the Super Bowl next year, which would mean that Brandon Graham would be playing again next year and not retiring after his season-ending injury. I'm here for it. Jason Kelce, Brandon Graham retire. I'm all about it. Love. Can't wait to see it. Love, 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 love. I just love, love. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wild ride over the last couple of weeks. I appreciate you guys while I was enjoying some paternity leave that I gave myself. I appreciate you guys hanging in with me and still checking out the show and following me on social media and all that fun stuff. You guys are just fantastic, and I can't thank you enough for all that. It was a crazy 2 weeks. It's still crazy. It's not, as anyone with kids knows, it's not going to get any less crazy, only more crazy. But I appreciate you guys sticking with the show and following me and watching all the clips and all the shows and all that stuff. So you guys are fantastic for that. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for listening. Oh, one last thing. Dan, to your point about clearing your car before you drive and all that stuff. So, hey, shout out to our man, PJ. Car got dinged. I'll put it gently, put it nicely. But two things when PJ told me that, and then Dan, it reminded me of this quick thing. The day after the Super Bowl, years ago, I'll never forget this. I told you my parents would throw that big Super Bowl party, and my brother was 3 years older than me. He was a senior in high school when I was a freshman, and he would drive me to school every day in my freshman year. And I remember my brother didn't park in the driveway that night because we had the big Super Bowl party. So he's in the street. The very next morning, we wake up, we go to get in the car to go to school, and the car is totaled. And I grew up in a development. I didn't grow up in like a small neighborhood. I grew up in like a development. And my brother and I look at the car, and I look at my brother and I go, "What'd you do?" And he's like, "I didn't do anything." And as it turns out, we looked up the road a little bit, and there was a car pulled over on the side of the road that was running. We could see the exhaust coming out, right, in the cold winter day. And we went inside and we told our parents, we don't have a way to get to school. The car's totaled. It was smashed. And my dad looks outside and sees what's what. He goes, "Oh, my God." And then saw the car up the road, and we just figured that lady or this person hit the car. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, we got a knock on the door. Day after the Super Bowl, a woman she knocks on the door and she says, "I have something I have to tell you." To her credit, who stopped. "I have something I have to tell you." And my dad's like, "Uh-huh." And she didn't clear off her car. And she didn't see my brother's car parked on the side of the road and plowed into it. Everything worked out. She couldn't have been nicer about it. Accidents happen and whatever. But yeah, it's crazy. Always clear your windshield, folks. Thank you, Dan, for reminding me of that. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Lupac made for this? Lupac made for this. Thank you very much. You're very kind. I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a phenomenal job. This is Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. My name is Marc Farzetta. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. From the Steven Singer Studios, this is the Farzy Show presented by DestinationRetirement.com. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.